Welcome to an all-new episode of the No Rules Podcast. I'm Aaron Hilton. As always, joined by my main man, Malik Smith. Malik, what up, man?
What's going on, bro? Happy opening day.
Happy opening day. I mean, I see you rocking the hat of the Evil Empire. I almost wore my Red Sox hat. But you know what? I was feeling like real neutral. You know what I mean? I wanted to open up this baseball season on like a peaceful setting, and like here you are.
You didn't.
You brought the hat. Is that like a hat from 1919? Because I mean, it looked like
this is vintage. This is
that's like the hat that they got from like their first World Series win.
Exactly. There's a little pine tar. You see the pine tar on there? Yeah.
No, for sure. That's like you stole that out of Gary Sheffield's locker for sure. 100%.
Exactly. Game worn. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. This is it's the real deal, baby. You know what I'm saying? You can't get this.
Yeah, man.
Can't get this at Dick's Sporting Goods.
Hey, but it's an exciting time of the year, man. For us sports nerds, especially. You got March Madness in full swing.
Yep.
Sweet 16 games going on tonight. We're recording this on Thursday evening, so Sweet 16 games going on tonight. We're starting with BYU, Alabama. But the most important thing on our slate, the first thing I want to get to on this slate, it is opening day. As we had discussed before we started recording here, Yankees closer Devin Williams, who had gotten the beard policy change for the Yankees for a long time. It had been nothing but sideburns and mustaches out there in Yankee Stadium, and he got the policy changed to allow beards, and now he's got you sweating out a potential game-ending situation. That's just the beauty of opening day, Malik.
Well, you know, as the Yankees usually do, we will come through. And as I like to say to people,
did you come through in the World Series? Because if you usually,
all right, we're starting off hot. Did you?
I'm just asking a question.
Listen.
I'm here to ask the question.
We did not. You know, no, I'm gonna stand on it. We did not. Okay. We lost the World Series. It was a devastating game, devastating way to lose. But hey, you know, a lot of people wish that their team could make it there, and
felt pointed. I don't.
You know, and you know, listen, we don't play to lose. We play to win. So you know, I'm not going to celebrate just making it. But it was an exciting season last season, and I'm excited for this season. I feel, despite all the injuries, and I mean, I don't understand what's going on with Giancarlo Stanton's elbows. Like that, just both your elbows are messed up.
You can only hold so much muscle in your body before it just starts breaking down. I mean, the dude is built like a fucking MMA fighter. Like he's ridiculous. So, you know, hopefully he is a speedy recovery, because while I am a Red Sox fan and wish for nothing but bad things on the Yankees, I am first and foremost a sports fan. I don't wish injury on anybody. So I do hope for a speedy recovery and a return to 200 strikeout form for Giancarlo Stanton. So let's get you back on the field. Like.
You know what? That was good. It'll be even funnier in you know what, 6 months when you guys are not in the playoffs and the Yankees win the AL East.
The Red Sox are winning the pennant. Did you not get the memo? Yeah, I read the script earlier.
I didn't. Did they just send it to you?
No. I actually wrote it and I submitted it, and it was accepted. My submission was accepted. So, you know, shout out to me. I won the sweepstakes. The Red Sox will be making it to the postseason. Will not win the World Series, though. I didn't want to get too overzealous. I was like, you know what? We'll take a return to the postseason.
Yeah, you can't put too much dip on your chip. That's crazy.
Yeah, you know, a reuniting of Alex Cora and Alex Bregman. So, you know, the two Alexes colliding in the Fens to bring us back to World Series, to playoff prominence. Excuse me. Oh, sorry, just kind of sprinkling the World Series in there. Just
Freudian slip.
Got a little ahead of myself, you know. But yeah, man, I'm excited about opening day. I'm more excited about how the season will unfold moving forward from here. But moving past baseball, because I want to give that some time to marinate. So maybe we'll revisit some baseball stuff either next week or in the weeks ahead. Fuck the Yankees again. I wanted to get this one started with, and I want to preface this by saying we are sending heartfelt, we want to wish speedy recovery, healing energy out to Juju Watkins. We know that she went down with a ugly knee injury, tore her ACL this past weekend in USC's women's NCAA tournament game. Just not something that you ever want to see, is an injury in the sport, especially to one of the sport's brightest stars. You know, basketball period took a loss this past week when Juju went down with that injury. Usually a year long, so she might not even be able to be back for her junior season. So she'll probably have a medical red shirt next year, but I don't know. Don't want to speculate. Hopefully she will be back sooner than that. But I did want to talk about a situation she was involved in recently that had a little bit more levity to it. Juju was seen by the ESPN cameras at the women's NCAA tournament, sitting courtside with the franchise for the Washington Commanders, Jayden Daniels. And then cut to the second half, Jayden Daniels' mother made a cameo appearance in between them, splitting them up. It was much ballyhooed by a lot of the people on the socials throughout the rest of the weekend, just harkening back to Jayden's mom talking about the women that will try and get to him and get to his pockets. I don't think Juju falls under that blanket. She's a millionaire already with her Nike NIL deal, and among others, and she will only continue to build on that wealth once she rises to the WNBA in a couple of years. So just interested to see from your perspective, have you ever had a parent interfere in a previous relationship?
I'm pretty sure I have. I mean, not in that way. It was
aggressive because like Jayden's like 24. You know what I mean? Like it's not like he's like some 19-year-old kid who like just made his first million. You know?
Yeah. I mean, he's a man. He's a grown man. I don't understand. I understand. I shout out to his mom, who, you know, I love when athletes when their parents are involved and they're like, look, I want my son or my daughter to like have this foundation to know that I'm here. Like, I don't want them to just be doing stuff and like I'm just along for the ride, right? So like, shout out to parents who are involved in their kids' lives. We'll get to something similar to that later, I'm sure. But but like, yo, not only is it like super embarrassing to pull up on your son while he's clearly, my man was macking. Like, you saw the two of them talking, and she was grinning ear to ear. He was grinning ear to ear.
It wasn't too aggressive either. It was like the perfect. Very subtle. It was very subtle. You know, you were getting the smiles, you were getting the intent. They were both still watching the game. They weren't making the block hot at all. And honestly, the mom blew up the situation. You could have waited till like after the game.
Super hot. She made it.
You made it awkward.
Yeah, she made it super hot. So yeah, I've never had that. I mean, you know, I'm sure you've experienced this. As moms love to actually do the other thing, which is like, oh, so and so. Oh, you should talk to so and so. Oh, what do you think about
young woman?
Yeah.
I ran into so and so at the grocery store. I saw her mom at the carpool lane. I'm like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, butt out.
She just set you up with anybody.
We're like, first of all, your son's a whore. So let's start with that. No,
already better.
Trust me.
You talking about so and so?
Yeah, we got introduced the other day.
Yeah.
No, I mean it's a shame that it took such an awkward turn for them. Funny, obviously for us,
for everyone else,
to talk about. Yeah, for everybody else it was funny. For Jayden, I'm sure very embarrassing though.
Yeah, I feel like for Juju too, it was also very embarrassing. So like, you're sitting there, you're talking to this dude, and then his mom comes, and it's like, all right, like it's like you remember when you go to the dance in middle school. And they used to put the flashlight on you so you wouldn't dance too close to each other.
No.
They used to do that to us back in the day. We'd be dancing too close and they put the flashlight in between y'all like, break it up. It's
that's funny.
Come on, man. You know, like that's
some New York shit right there.
It's like a different level of cock blocking. And the thing is, you're only going to make kids, like, especially at 12, you're only going to make them more interested. The two of them are grown and millionaires. If he decided tomorrow, like, yo, mom, like, we're good on the, like, you jumping into my life. Like, you can manage my money, but, like, sorry, I'm going to go out here and I'm going to just be talking to as many women as I want to. What's she going to do?
If you,
like, you're going to pull up to his house with the women at
and again, all of these comments are said with all due respect to Mrs. Daniels or whatever her last name is. You know, all due respect. This is strictly just Juju is not the one that you need to be blocking him from. Like,
he might have more money than him.
Honestly, he's the first. He's the number 2 pick in the NFL draft. So I don't think she has more money.
State Farm, dog. State Farm.
That's fair. I forgot about the State Farm bag. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's at least comparable.
Yeah.
It's enough that like neither one needs to sign a prenup. Just like leave it what you got.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like they're both millionaires. They're both young. They're both in the prime of, their good looking years. They're both at the top of their sport. There was no need for you to step in there. That's not like, she's not like the gold digging type. That's not the type of person that's gonna like step in and do. Okay. That.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, what do you think about Juju Watkins, girl? You don't know who that is, do you? You just want to type on stuff. No, but again, that's not the type of person that you need to be blocking him from, because he plays football in Chocolate City. I'm sure he has found his way, or a few women have found their way into his DMs that are not multimillionaires who will probably be the number one pick in the WNBA draft in a couple of years. So, like, of all the people for you to step in the way of, that's not the one. And then to do it so publicly is just, it's emasculating for him. And, as a quarterback,
yeah,
and a leader of a franchise, especially a franchise as ballyhooed as the Washington Commanders are, you don't want to be cutting his legs from underneath him. Like, that's not the type of thing that people need in their locker room with their leader being like, oh, what's your mom gonna say if we start talking about him, or if we start joking on him? Is your mom gonna come? You know what I mean? Like, we having girls at the function, we can't invite Jayden, or else his mom might come.
Can't come.
She might pop out the bushes and call the cops. Music getting played too loud.
His mom's
she wanted out.
Mom's looking all right. So if mom showed up, it'd be like, hey. Mom might get pulled by one of the linebackers.
You know what I'm saying?
Now Jada got to fight the linebacker because it's like, yo, dog. You know what I mean? But listen,
back up, or the head coach. You never know.
Look, man, dude was starting quarterback at LSU. So,
and Arizona State, he was like a known party school.
Yeah, I know for a fact, like, there's no way his mom was protecting him from all the girls who were throwing themselves at him in college. So to do it when he's sitting courtside at a women's college basketball game, and apparently the two of them been talking. So I don't even think this is it's not like they just met each other at that moment. Like they apparently have known each other.
What are the odds that this, like, if there was something where, I guess we'll ask the two-part. I'll ask the two-part question to you. One, do you think that this was an intimate conversation, or do you think that they're just like friends and just cool? And then beyond that, what do you think this interaction with Jayden's mom did to perhaps hinder anything that could be possibly going on for them?
I mean, it definitely doesn't. It doesn't help the situation for him. Like whatever he was macking, like, no question. And she was macking too. It was a co-equal macking, okay?
A mutual mack. Yes.
Yeah. Definitely. Like they was having a little moment, you know what I mean? Like she was like, yeah, like I don't even know what the kids be talking about these days. Whatever they be talking about, they was
Riz. I think it's Riz. I feel like
the Riz was strong. Yeah. Okay, is that what people say? The Riz was strong. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like short for charisma. So
yeah. But all the Riz that he had in that moment, he like just cut it in half when mom showed up, and cause you could tell she was kind of looking like.
In half, I divide that motherfucker by 0. Like as soon as mom show up and like intersect into your whole situation, like that shit is a dub.
Yeah.
Like it don't take nothing, especially like you've all talked to beautiful women in your life, and then like we've also all had a situation where you're talking to somebody and they're like, you said the wrong thing or you've done the wrong thing, and it just torpedoes the whole situation. Like you're in your flow state, and then all of a sudden, like maybe you take a joke too far, or you miss a text message, or whatever it is. Like this was the live courtside equivalent of like missing the "you up" text. You know what I mean? Like I don't see how. Now maybe they have enough history that or he has enough riz that he can get it back. But it's going to be really hard to recover from that type of situation.
He got to be there like every day. She's going through physical therapy. You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact.
You got to. This is how we would know if it's really serious. You got to be down. When she down, you got to be down for her. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's a fact.
You know what I mean? Then this is how she suss out. Like, oh, was he just playing around, or was he serious? If he's showing up to USC hospital, you know what I'm saying, helping you walk and you know what I mean, icing your knee and stuff, then you know you got a
carry
real
you up
one.
the steps while he got his crutches strapped to his back or something like
Yeah,
that. You know what I mean?
then you
Just
know you got a real one. Yeah, you know what I'm
that's a
saying.
fact.
But if he
That's a
don't,
fact.
if he ain't answering your text, Juju, you know what I'm saying. And the line, listen, the line is long for the people
Long.
that would like to be with
This
Juju
is
Watkins.
honestly one would argue that this is a confirmation to a lot of people that might have been unsure. You know, given the sport that she plays and given the fact that she's never been attached to anything like this before. Now she is only 19, so like you
Yeah.
also understand that part of it. But like, you know, this is the first time that anybody, at least for me, from my knowledge, that anybody could have seen anything that could have even seemed like her
Right.
showing interest in another man or another person in general. So
Yeah, she's been locked in on
even
basketball.
slight glimpse into her personal life at all, let alone potentially her love life. So this is definitely probably encouraging to a lot of young men, at least in the California area.
They
So,
think they got a chance now.
you know what I'm saying? Hey, man, all you got to do is show up, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, put a shot up. Put a
Yeah.
shot up. What's the worst that can happen? She say no. That's it.
She say hell no.
Yeah, hell no is pretty bad. Hell no.
She's like,
Matter of fact,
sorry, I was talking to the starting quarterback of the team that almost made
the
Super Bowl.
Commanders.
You know what I mean?
You
So,
not
like,
she's one of those, like, if you're not a millionaire, you really don't have nothing to say to me. Which
Yeah.
you know, it's understandable.
Fair. It's fair.
I mean, it's understandable.
It's like,
she gotta
yo, look at
protect
my
her bag.
I feel like she would be like, look at my trajectory. Are you on this trajectory? Like,
You know
why
what I
would
mean?
you even attempt? Are you even close to
like-
the trajectory?
No. You know what I'm saying? Like she's not talking to some like USC aspiring like film student or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Now, if you're in the next, Singleton or whatever it is, sure, maybe she'll talk to you.
Maybe.
But like, she ain't talking to no. You know what I mean? You got to be like Russo
let's
brothers.
let's see your short film project that you got going on.
You know what I
Maybe.
Yeah, you got to be like you got to be at least Ryan Coogler in his like Fruitvale Station era. You know what I mean? We can't. That's the level of up and coming that she's gonna get to. You making like indie movies, but they're still picked up by major publications and stuff like that.
Gotta have a little
We're
juice.
not doing it.
Gotta have a little juice. You know what I'm saying?
Gotta have a little bit of juice, man.
Yeah.
But speaking of having some juice, man, there's nobody in the sports world that has more juice seemingly than Stephen A. Smith in terms of being a media personality covering basketball. He has the credentials. Are about as long as a CVS receipt for Stephen A. Smith. So, ultimate respect to him as a professional and as a journalist and someone who's paved the way for a lot of guys that look like us. That being said, this whole shit is corny. Him and LeBron James and their little back and forth has been nothing short of one of the most corny, childish displays of, media bickering or bickering through the media that I've ever seen. Stephen A. went on his press tour. We had covered it last week or the week before. Him going on his press tour about LeBron pressing him. LeBron gets his clapback on the Pat McAfee show, which is on the same network as Stephen A. Smith. So masterstroke by LeBron James there. Shout out to Raymond. But now it's come into a whole situation where Stephen A. is making accusations of LeBron lying or being a liar. He had brought up his attendance at the Kobe Bryant Memorial, which he has since retracted because he said there was a miscommunication there. He talked about he would have, if he put his hands on me, I would have swung on him, was one of the things that I saw on socials going around. He posted that on like his Instagram. I'd have swung on him. No, you wouldn't have. 6'9", 250 pounds. No, you wouldn't. Sorry. And if you did, it wouldn't end the way that you think it would.
Well,
I've seen the video.
To be fair, he did say he would have gotten his ass kicked before he said he would have. He said he wouldn't have got his ass kicked because if LeBron James put his hands on him, he would have swung back. So he wasn't saying like he was gonna fight LeBron.
Yeah, but he wouldn't have done that either. That's not
I mean, he was saying it would have been a fight that he would have lost, but he would have at least fought. Is what he was saying.
But
then, I hear you.
My thing is no, you wouldn't have, because again, you have been in this business for over 2 decades. Like, you trying to tell me this is the first time that you've had a real brush up or a dust up with an athlete, even a star athlete? Like, come on, that's just not true. And to my knowledge, he's never done it before. He doesn't seem like a kind of person that would ruin a multi-million-dollar bag, which he has signed for over $10-20 million at ESPN, like per year or something like that, like baseball money, really. He's gonna mess up that bag to fight the face of the league for what? For what? So no, I don't think Stephen A. is that dumb that he would have done that. I think that it's ridiculous to even say that. Even if he would do something that stupid, it's dumb to say it. And this whole situation has gone from like funny to ugly. But what I will say is, Kevin Love is on a generational Instagram run because his post about it was just, I mean, a lot of people are getting a lot of mileage out of this whole situation for sure. I want it to be over.
Yeah. I'll be honest. When we talked about it the first time, right? I said I fully supported LeBron. Talking to Stephen A, he had an issue with him. He addressed him directly. Courtside, whatever. Like, that's when he saw him. He addressed him. He said how he felt. Cool, because Stephen A gets to speak in public and everybody gets to hear what he has to say. So if I don't like something that you said, I'm addressing you directly. Stephen A went on First Take, talked about it. Then he kept talking about it, whatever. It kind of died down. So LeBron going on Pat McAfee, I'm not going to say it was corny, but it was just kind of like, all right, bro, you're kind of reigniting it and you don't really need to because you already said what you needed to say. But it was funny what he said. So I was like, I wasn't really mad at it. But to me, it's like, yo, dude, this isn't going to, like, you keep pushing it, then he's going to keep pushing it. And now it's gotten to the point where I think we kind of forgot what the whole point of it was. It's like super personal. It's like really weird. Like, at the end of the day, LeBron, you can't be mad at Stephen A for saying something that we all know is true. Look, Bronny James, regardless of how good he dropped 17 the other day and people were going crazy. I'm like, guys, 17 points. And they lost by 30. And he was like a minus 26 box score. So, like, let's calm down, first of all. Second of all, like, he's in the league because LeBron wanted him in the league. That's the truth. Stephen A saying it. And shout out to Maurice who covered this on the FMFU podcast last week. He was saying, like, look, you're questioning my parenting, which I take offense to. And I would take offense to somebody questioning my parenting. Like, don't tell me how to be a dad. But at the same time, bro, the thing that you did that's so very obvious, which is get your son a contract in the NBA when he's not ready to be an NBA player. What Stephen A it covers basketball for the biggest sports media enterprise out there. You're the biggest basketball player out there. You're like, this is not something that no one was never going to say. We're all thinking it. We all think it. So I don't understand why LeBron is still mad about this. Like, bro, that's his opinion. If you feel differently, then Bronny's game will show it out. But like, to me, like to keep carrying it, it's like if this was about that, I think this is about more than just the Bronny thing to me.
No, I think it is. I think
there's no way that you could care this much that you're going on Pat McAfee to be talking about it.
No, I think it's been documented that they do have a negative history between the two of them. Like it's been a relatively contentious relationship between the two of them. They're not like media friends or he doesn't have the same relationship with LeBron as he had with Allen Iverson. I'll say it that way.
Or Kobe.
Or Kobe, right. But what I will say about for LeBron and the way he handled the situation, because last week I was team Stephen A to an extent, although I did address the fact that I didn't know what he actually said and if it had anything to do with him being a dad and it went beyond the basketball court, then I would have been on LeBron's side. It was my ignorance of the situation. I probably should have been just more educated on what actually was said before we went on and talked about it. But the fact of the matter is that I wasn't. Having heard LeBron's side and knowing relatively what Stephen A said in that situation, I do understand LeBron's feelings. And it's not enough to just address Stephen A Smith man-to-man on the court because public disrespect deserves a public apology, which he never really got. But he was like, okay, so I addressed you in public, right? That's where it should have ended. Then you went on your press tour, okay? I don't want to talk about it, but yet you're talking about it on every podcast you could possibly get your voice on, right? So now I have to hear you do your press tour around all these different podcasts and podcasts of the culture all as well. You know what I mean? Like he's not just going on his own pod and mentioning it. He's going on the Gilbert Arenas podcast and all over the place, spreading out this information. And so far, all we have is a video of LeBron approaching him clearly about the incident, but you don't hear anything that LeBron actually had to say. And then there was the audio of him that was leaked of him when he was embracing Richard Jefferson before they covered a Lakers game. But there was no legit LeBron addressing a camera with a microphone talking about it. So that McAfee situation, he earned the right to say something because Stephen A. Smith has been in every microphone he could put his face in saying something about this, and LeBron had enough. So I get that. And it was masterful because he did it on the network that Stephen A. Smith is the face of. So I even understand it from a petty standpoint. Like, I'm not only just going to say this, but I'm going to say it on your network on a show that's getting equal ratings as your show is getting. So I understand him doing it in that way. What I don't like is when, like you said, it delved into the personal. It got weird. Who gonna swing on who, and Bron posting like these funny clips and stuff. Like, do I laugh at some of the clips? Yeah, I laugh at the clips, but like, you're LeBron fucking James, man.
Yeah.
Like, at a certain point, you're LeBron James. You're Stephen A. Smith. Let's grow the fuck up here, man. Like, we're not on Love and Hip Hop. We're not on Real Housewives of the NBA or whatever the case may be. Like, this is a situation where it's two grown men, two egos clashing. One person crossed the line. One other person clearly wanted to address that. It's been addressed. It's been talked about publicly. Let's move past it. You guys can continue to have your beef in private, but like, as far as the public things, like, I just don't want to hear it anymore. I don't care to know Stephen A's side or what LeBron's lying about or if he's a liar, whatever it is. You cross the line. LeBron wanted to check you, and LeBron got his narrative out there because you got your narrative out there. Everybody's even. Let's move past it now.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm glad that you mentioned it in that sequence, because I agree that LeBron has the right to go on, like, after Stephen A. been on 5 different platforms to talk about it, which is also his right? Like, because we didn't hear anything that was said, so all we saw was LeBron standing over him. So of course he had to address it. It was funny the way that he said he didn't want to have to address it, but then he talked to 15 different people. But whatever. Here's where LeBron loses me. And again, huge LeBron James fan. When LeBron started saying, like, I'm doing this for the players, that's when I'm like, all right, dog, now you on some bullshit, because you're doing this because you don't like him for whatever reason. And whatever reason you don't like him seems odd, because outside of this Bronny thing, I can't really think of anything negative that Stephen A. has ever said about LeBron. And I'm not like I watch every episode of First Take, but he's bigged him up off the court. He's bigged him up on the court. Like, so that's what I'm saying. Like, whatever issue y'all have between y'all is something that's behind the scenes, and it's like leaking out to us, and we're just sort of getting like just a weird version of this, where it's just like, it has me going back thinking, like, man, was what he said about Bronny that crazy? Like, all he said was like, yo, you're putting your son in a bad position, which, again, I agree.
But in the context of the situation, so like, this is twofold. So first of all, you can't tell somebody how to feel about the thing that you said that crosses a line, because you don't know what his line is. So like, he has heard a multitude of people speak crazy about him all the time in games and all that stuff, fans screaming, heckling him, other players, other stuff. Hell, Ime Udoka of the Houston Rockets called him like a bitch to his face in a basketball game. So like, he is not somebody that hasn't heard things like that, or even worse things, but clearly it is something that struck a nerve, because he identifies with more pride, at least, as a father. And for me, I understand if you feel like that is something that you cannot have called into question by the media, then that is something that I feel like, if you feel like you needed to address that, then you address it however you feel you need to address it. The moment you cross the line into talking about personal things and making it into like some kind of media war or whatever it is, that's when it becomes ego driven. That's when the ego starts to take over, because you have allowed yourself to get to a point where now your ego is in it, and you need people to laugh at you, and even more than you need people to laugh with you, more than you need them to laugh at Stephen A. Smith for the things that he's doing and saying. Because if he would have just stayed quiet, the Stephen A. swing on you comment was enough for him to bury himself. You know what I mean? Like, that would have been enough for the social media streets to get on. Now, as we talk about Bronny James, if you go down and look at that draft, honestly, and we had talked about it, I believe, off air, there's not a whole lot of people in the second round that are blowing you away. Okay, Bronny's averaging over 20 in the G League, which is tops of anybody that's been drafted in this year's draft that's playing in the G League. he's playing very well. He had the 17-point game, and like you could say, yeah, it's only 17 points, but there are a lot of rookies this year that were drafted in the first round that haven't scored even 10 points, let alone 17. So, like, I
Sure.
think Bronny is showing that yes, there is a world in which you can belong in this league. Are you ready to be a regular contributor or in an NBA rotation right now? No, you're not. Did you get this opportunity because of your dad? Yes, you did. That's not to say that he can't make LeBron right in his assessment of his own son. But yes, you can acknowledge the clear fact that if LeBron did not play for the Lakers or he wasn't who he is to the people of this league, he would not have been drafted into this league. He would have got a tryout, I'm sure, but
Yeah.
uh, I guarantee you he would not have been drafted even in the second round with the third to the last pick in the NBA draft. But yeah, I really don't like how two men that I have respect for as professionals, how they've addressed the situation, how they've allowed it to get to this point. That's really my whole thing.
I agree. Because, I mean, you're the biggest star in the NBA. Stephen A is the biggest sportscaster out there. So to me, it's like you're setting a precedent for players of lesser stature and sportscasters of lesser stature to sort of kind of do the same thing, right? And whatever, people can do whatever they want, but like I just feel like this isn't really the dynamic that I'm pretty sure Adam Silver and with Jimmy Pitara, I think, who runs ESPN, are probably both looking at this like, all right, guys, like let's enough of this
Wrap
shit.
it up, guys.
Like,
yeah, they got the wrap it up box out right now.
Yeah, it's like it's like dude with sign, like, all right, enough, like but
that's coming. That's definitely coming. Dude with sign about to be on their top for sure.
Yeah, but yeah, man. I mean, it's certainly a wild back and forth that I did not expect to happen. Meanwhile, apparently LeBron's doing his Mind the Game pod with Steve Nash. That got completely buried by this whole thing. Sucks for Steve Nash. And LeBron had a game winner last night, even though he had like one of the worst games ever. Had a nice little tip-in game winner.
As long as he kept that digit streak alive, that's all that really matters.
Yo, you know what's so funny? Like, I love every time he's got like 8 points and we're in the third quarter, and it's like, oh, LeBron, if you haven't noticed, it's like, no, we know. Every time this happens, you guys let us know that he scored 10 points.
It was like the second quarter,
like 2006.
Yeah, I think Mark Jones was on the call, and it was like the second quarter. He was like, well, LeBron James, only 2 points. It was like, I think
that graphic is coming.
He'll find a way to get 8 more points. You know what I mean?
The producer,
he's gonna look up at that box score. He'd be like, yeah, I got to get this 10 off. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, I might not
the producer would be ready to pull that graphic out. He'd be like, yo, fire up that LeBron James. He's like, if I'm doing one thing tonight, I'm pulling out that graphic. It's coming out. Boy, they be ready for that.
I'm finna get it. Yeah. But no, that's we just want to see him get back to basketball. It's about to be playoff time, man. Let's get back to basketball, man. Speaking of back to basketball, we got the Sweet 16 going on this weekend. We had mentioned BYU, Alabama is the first game to get us started. Fuck Bama. They've cost me a lot of money this year, so I'm not talking about them at all. The Duke Blue Devils are in it. They play later on this evening, but I wanted to talk about the Florida Gators. They had a very, very tough matchup with UConn. Did you catch a game with UConn?
I did.
You did? What did you think of the game?
It's a good game.
Yeah, I mean that it was a great game. Undersold. You undersold it. It was a great game. It was a great game.
It was a fine game.
Just the basketball nerd in me, my heart was just pumping the whole time. It was fantastic. Walter Clayton, he's built for the moment, man. Marches about the guards. You can't make a march run without a good guard. And Walter Clayton is proving to be head and shoulders above a lot of the other guards in this tournament. And it's made me pretty scared about my Duke pick personally, but excited about what could be over these next couple of games, a couple of weekends moving forward. The basketball has been outstanding. The players are playing hard. So I'm really, really excited for the Sweet 16 that's coming up this weekend. And I can't wait. Once we're done here, I'm popping into the living room and I'm popping the game on to watch my new favorite player next to Cooper Flagg, Walter Clayton.
Can I just say the thing, because we've talked about this before, you're a big college basketball guy. Me, less so. I watch way more NBA than I watch college basketball. So the reason why I said it was a good game and not a great game is because when I'm watching college basketball, sometimes I forget, like, they're not, it's other than Duke. I feel like Duke is the one team I watch where I'm seeing them sort of running. Really, it's just Cooper Flag and the way he kind of can get off the ball and, just the way he plays, you feel like you're watching a guy who's going pro. But I feel like a lot of these guys, I'm watching the games. Shout out to St. John's. They freaking blew it for me. I had them going pretty far in my bracket. It's completely cooked now.
RJ Luis just torpedoed my whole weekend.
He was
gambling
terrible.
wise.
But guess what? They were still in the game. Despite him playing terribly. I also thought that was a bad move by Patino to sit him.
To bench him.
You just completely killed that dude's confidence. But the execution at the end of games, and I mean this is basketball in general, right? So like NBA players have the same issue, but the execution at the end of college basketball games frustrates me so much because I'm watching the game and UConn is just doing stuff where I'm just like, guys, it's right there for you. Like you can win this game if you do this one thing, and they just kept making the wrong play at the wrong time. Same in that St. John's game. It's just like the wrong play at the wrong time. But with college basketball, it's like because the way that they play the foul game and at the end of the game, it extends. So it's not like they screwed up their chance to take the lead or tie the game or whatever, and that was a shot. They run out the clock. It's over. Then we got to do the foul game, and then I'm sitting there like, okay, so maybe I don't know how good is this kid at shooting free throws. It says he's 75%.
And now with the analytics, if your team is the worst situation for you to be in is if one team is up 3 with under 30 seconds left, because now both teams are playing the foul game.
Yeah.
You want to foul so that they can't shoot any threes to tie the game, and the other team wants to foul so that they can hope you miss a free throw and give them an opportunity to make it a 2-point game as opposed to a 3-point game. So it does get really weird at the end of games. I just wish there was a way to kind of combat some of that stuff. Unfortunately, it's just one of those things that you can't really do. They haven't figured it out yet. People far smarter than us have been trying to figure it out for years.
I think you got to keep it because that's what makes college basketball,
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's a beautiful game. There are some things I would like to see changed. Namely, I want to see the ability to advance the ball under 2 minutes. That needs to change.
Yes.
Playing two halves.
Yes.
Yeah. Like playing 2 halves instead of 4 quarters. Like, are we fucking serious? Men's college basketball is the only basketball where you don't play 4 quarters. Women play 4 quarters. NBA plays 4 quarters. I'm pretty sure even, Unrivaled plays 4 quarters. And they're 3-on-3. So, you know what I mean? Like, what are we doing? FIBA is 4 quarters. There's no other iteration of high-level basketball above the high school level where you don't play 4. And I think even high school men's basketball is 4 quarters. I mean, I can't confirm it, but I'm pretty sure it's 4 10-minute quarters. So, like, what are we doing with this 2 halves thing? As a gambler, I hate the fact that 5 fouls you out of the game. That's just the worst. Make it 6. Like, come on. NBA players get 6 fouls, and they're more disciplined than college players. Make it 6 fouls. Make it 6 fouls. You can keep the single bonus, double bonus thing, whatever. I don't really care. The 1-on-1 is stupid, but I'm not going to die on that hill. But for the love of God, under 2 minutes, when you call a timeout, let them advance the ball to the front court.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, no, that's a big one. Yeah, I mean, I don't understand it either. That's a good point. I guess it's funny because my wife will always ask me like, "Wait, so second half or second quarter?" I'm like, "Second half. It's 2 20-minute." She's like, "Oh, okay." Yeah, it's like, yeah, I don't. It's great that you bring that up. I don't understand why they do that either. That they're the only ones. They're the only ones who haven't changed.
I guess maybe they feel like they can get more media timeouts or more money for advertisers, but I just don't. I don't see how that's true. So, like, I don't. Yeah. I just wish it would change. It's dumb. Find a way to get the advertisers the same money or whatever it is, or get your same money from advertisement. But, like, let's get to 4 quarters here.
Would think you would get more ads because you have a quarter break.
Yeah.
So.
Right. You get quarter breaks, and then, like, each quarter has at least one break within it. So, you have 4 breaks a half the regular way. All you need to do is find a way to get 2 extra breaks on top of the quarter breaks. So, I don't really understand that at all, but it'll probably never change because that's what we want and because it makes the most sense. So, whatever, fuck the fans, right? The last thing I wanted to talk about as far as March Madness, man, is the game winner from the young kid, Derek Queen for the University of Maryland. He's a Baltimore product. He actually went to Montverde with Liam McNeely and Cooper Flagg, who are both projected lottery picks in this year's draft. Should the refs have called the trap, Malik? Would you have called it if you were wearing the zebra stripes?
No, I think I don't like when the referees get involved with the last play of a game, or in the last, like, I mean, unless it's something like super egregious. But I feel like, it's basketball. Guys travel all the time. Like, just
it was like a half a step. It was a half a step, and no advantage was gained. He was still floating out of bounds, and he's still the center, taking a tough, like, 18-foot midi while floating out of bounds with, like, almost no angle. How we got that off the backboard and in was incredible to me. But that'll wrap it up for us here today, Malik. As always, man, we really appreciate all the support and everything that we're getting from anybody and everybody that listens. And a special shout out to a friend of ours, a fellow Hamptonian, a Hampton woman, Miss Lauren McDonald. We really appreciate you for Lauren McDonald.
Respect on that,
I should say, for stepping in this week. She's officially a new member of the No Rules team. She's helping us out a lot behind the scenes. Maybe a couple of times we'll be able to get her on and in front of the camera to address a few topics and things that we may or may not have. But we appreciate you, Lauren, for coming in and helping it and stepping forward in stepping our artistic vision forward for the rest of the podcast as we see it. So thank y'all for rocking with us. It's been another episode of the No Yankees podcast. Peace. Oh my God. I cannot fucking believe you just not. All right.
Yeah.
Fine. If this is the world that we're having now.
It's happening.
Bet. Heard you.
It's happening.
Heard you. All right. All right.
All right. I'm gonna see what I can do with it. Whatever happens.